He rose from the humblest beginnings, a canal boat driver and self-taught scholar, to become one of the most promising presidents in American history. Yet his time in office would last only 200 days before an assassin's bullet cut it short. This is the story of James A. Garfield, the president whose brief leadership still pointed the nation toward integrity, education, and reform under the superintendence of an overruling Providence. Welcome to episode 20 of Faith and Freedom, the presidents who built America. What can a president accomplish in just 6 months? And what does his life teach us about the cost of leadership? Born in 1831 in a log cabin in Ohio, James A. Garfield was the last president to be born in such humble circumstances. His father died when he was an infant, leaving the family in poverty. Young Garfield worked as a canal boat driver, then educated himself with fierce determination, eventually graduating from Williams College with honors. He became a professor, a minister, a lawyer, and a Civil War general who rose to the rank of Major General. After the war, he served 9 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives. In 1880, to the surprise of many, including himself, he was nominated and elected president on the 36th ballot at the Republican Convention. Garfield entered the White House at a time of deep division within his own party. The stalwarts and half-breeds fought bitterly over patronage and power. Corruption from the Grant years still lingered, and the wounds of Reconstruction had not yet been healed. Yet Garfield believed that the Constitution and moral leadership could guide the nation forward. Yet even in his brief time in office, James A. Garfield's leadership produced 5 meaningful accomplishments. First, he took a courageous stand against the spoils system and political patronage. Garfield refused to allow the stalwarts faction, led by powerful New York Senator Roscoe Conkling, to dictate major federal appointments. When the stalwarts demanded he appoint their loyalist to the lucrative New York Customs House position, Garfield stood firm, insisting that merit and fitness, not political loyalty, should determine who served in government. He publicly defied the machines, politicians who expected him to reward them for their support during the convention. This bold confrontation helped ignite the national movement for civil service reform and demonstrated that the presidency could rise above partisan spoils. Though it earned him powerful enemies, Garfield's principled stand was one of the most significant early blows against the corrupt patronage system that had plagued Washington for decades. In the face of intense party pressure, Garfield chose integrity over political expediency. Second, he championed education and opportunity for all Americans. As a former educator, Garfield strongly supported federal aid for public education, especially in the South for both black and white children. He believed that an educated citizenry was essential to the survival of a free republic and worked to make learning accessible to the children and freedmen and poor families alike. Third, he pursued a strong and principled foreign policy. Garfield works to improve relations with Latin America and supported efforts to expand American influence through peaceful commerce rather than conquest. His administration laid the early groundwork for a more active and respectable role for the United States on the world stage. Fourth, he supported the modernization of the United States Navy. Recognizing that the Navy had fallen into serious despair since the Civil War, Garfield advocated for rebuilding and modernizing the fleet with new steel ships and improved technology. Though his time in office was short, his support helped lay the foundation for the new Navy that would emerge in the late 1880s and 1890s, strengthening America's position as a rising world power. And finally, he remained a man of deep personal faith and moral character amid political turmoil. A devoted Christian who had once considered becoming a minister, Garfield regularly read the scriptures and sought divine guidance. Even as he faced bitter party infighting and an assassin's bullet, he displayed remarkable dignity and forgiveness, trusting in the overruling providence of God. James A. Garfield was not in the presidency long enough to complete all that he hoped to achieve. Yet in his brief time in office, he consistently placed principle, integrity, and the good of the nation above personal ambition or partisan loyalty. Today, as our own nation continues to wrestle with division, political patronage, and the temptation to put party above principle, Garfield's story offers a powerful reminder. True leadership is not measured by the length of one's time in office, but by the courage to stand for what is right, even when it is difficult and dangerous. In our time of polarization, we are reminded that preserving liberty requires both conviction and humility. Conviction to fight for reform and humility to trust that the same overruling providence that guided Garfield through his short but consequential presidency is still at work today. He calls us to examine our own hearts, to pursue justice and integrity, and to trust that God's purposes will ultimately prevail. The president who only served 200 days still left a legacy of courage, education, and moral leadership. The God who sustained James A. Garfield in his brief but principled presidency is the same God who watches over our nation today. I want to thank you for joining me on our journey through the presidents who built America. If this episode encouraged you, please take a moment to like, comment, and share. Your support helps me continue telling these vital stories of faith and freedom. Next time, we step into the administration of Chester A. Arthur. Until then, may we walk in the same spirit and faithful service that marked the life of President James A. Garfield. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Bye for now.
3, 2, 1, talk to me.